Hey everyone, today I want to teach you guys about the power of compound interest. Whenever we're trying to grow our money and build wealth in the markets, first you got to understand the number one rule to building wealth is compounding your money. So here's a clear example of how to illustrate that. So here's a popular example that you see in a lot of books and TikToks and videos, right? We have two scenarios. We have one person named Ben who invests starting at 19 years old, and he starts investing $2,000 every year at a 12% interest rate of return, being compounded, meaning the interest that he earns is put in and reinvested, and then you earn interest on top of that. So if you start off with $2,000 and you earn 12%, at the end of year one, you have $2,240. But because it's being compounded, you're actually going to earn 12% on top of 2,240. But he puts in another 2,000, so his investment grows to 4,749. And now you're earning 12% off of this principal. And he adds another 2,000 every year until he's age 26. But here's the kicker. He stops investing and he no longer puts in additional capital, but he allows his money to grow at a 12% compound interest. And it grows and grows. As you can see, his account grows bigger and bigger without him adding any more money. So this $30,857 is being compounded at 12% interest. So if you multiply 12% times 30,857, you'll get 34,560. Now you're going to get 12% off of this, which then grows to 38,000. Now let's take a look at scenario B, Arthur. Arthur here says, you know what? I'm not going to wait till I invest at 19. I'm young. I'm going to buy a car. I'm going to go party. And he doesn't start thinking about investing until he's 27. So he waits 8 years before he starts to invest. And you'll see the first few numbers are exactly the same as Ben's right here, right? You have 2,240 investing all the way up into 27,551. So these numbers are exactly the same for the first 8 years. And this is a key point because at this point, Arthur continues to put in $2,000 every year. And so instead of 30,857, he's going to have 33,097 because he's continuing to put in $2,000. But what he fails to realize, and what a lot of people fail to realize, is that because Ben invested so early, he allows time to compound, which means that his investment is going to be able to double a lot faster. And you'll see that if I compare what happens here at $27,000, this is where he catches up, right? The same amount that Ben initially stopped investing here at 27,551. So after 8 years, Ben has already accumulated 68,216. Even though he no longer invested any more money, he just allowed this to grow at a 12% rate. All right. So now let's take a look and see where Arthur makes 68,216. That is, close to about right here at 62,785. But at this point, you can see that at age 39, Ben here has made $120,000 versus his 62 because he started earlier. So now let's take a look at when Arthur makes $120,000. That is at age 44. But here, Ben's money has grown to $211,000. So even though he's putting in more money, which is $2,000 every year, right? He's still not able to catch up to Ben's accumulated account. So now let's zoom out even further and go in and see, well, where at 207,000, let's see here. Ben, or I should say Arthur here, accumulates. Here, let me zoom out here so you can see the big picture here. Arthur continues to put in $2,000, and at the age 65, you'll see that his account has grown to $1.5 million. Whoops. $1.5 million here at age 65. But Ben here's account has grown to $2.2 million at 65. And you can see that Ben here only put in a total of $16,000, $16K, whereas Arthur put in 2,000 and he did it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39. So 39 times he put in here. Let's just make the math easy. Let's say for 40 additional years, he put in $2,000. So he put in a total of $80,000. So 80K. And he did that for about 40 years, right? But even though he put in 80K, his account value, still earning 12% interest rate, same as Ben, was only able to grow to 1.5. The only difference is Ben put in a lot less, but he started a lot earlier, and then he stopped investing. He just let the account grow, compounded at 12%, and his account grew all the way to $2.2 million. And Arthur was never able to catch up because let's see here, at 46, right? Ben's account made $265,000. Well, 265, Arthur here was able to make that at age 50, but Ben's account grew to $418,000. So let's see, when did Arthur make $418,000? Let's say close to about this mark right here, which is age 54. But at that time, Ben's account, it was at 658, right? So if you just go back down 658, let's say right here is when Arthur made about 682,000. But at 58, Ben's account is now at $1 million. Right? And then if you match that over here, by the time Arthur makes $1 million, Ben's account has grown to $1.6 million. And so Arthur, even though he's contributing $2,000 every year, his account never catches up to Ben's, even though he stopped investing at age 26 and or stopped contributing $2,000 at age 26, but his investment kept on growing, being compounded at 12%. So why does this occur? Well, let me show you guys what the rule of 72 is. So most of you guys who are new to finance, you might not be familiar, but the rule of 72 basically says how long will your investment account double depending on what your interest rate of return. So in this case, if you're earning 12% rate of return, 72 divided by 12 gives you 6 years. So your account is gonna double about every 6 years. And you can see that here. So what? $30,000 doubles to about $60,000 in 6 years. 27 to 33 is 6 years, right there. So now another 6 years goes by. That's what, 39. Your $60,000 doubles to about $120,000. Again, you're doubling your account. Another 6 years, that's what, 46. So now your 120,000 doubles to about 240. Go another 6 years out, your 240 grows to 480, right? Right about here. Add another 6 years to that. 51 plus 6 is 57, right? Adding another 6 years. So 468 grows to about 924. It's not exact, but it just gives you an approximate of how long it takes your money to double if you're compounding at a 12% interest rate. And then again, add another 6 years, that is 63. So your 924,000 now becomes 1.8 million. So this is what the rule of 72 does. It gives you an estimate, a quick estimate at how long it takes for your money to double. So why is starting early so important? Let me pull up a worksheet that I have with you guys, and I'm going to walk you through this worksheet that I created for my students. So let's say you have, first of all, we need to know that interest rates play a very big role in how often your money doubles. So we went over in the previous lesson, simple interest, right? You're just growing at a linear rate. So there's no compounding going on there. But compound interest, you are now using an exponential rate of growth. And so instead of using the compound interest formula, you could actually quickly apply the rule of 72 to tell you how long your money will double. So 72, if you're earning 8% interest, 72 divided by 8 gives you 9 years for your money to double. So if you start at 18, you're going to double your money. 18 plus 9 is 27. You'll have 20,000. Add another 9 years, 36, your money's going to double to 40,000. And then at age 45, your money is going to double at 80,000, right? But now let's just increase your interest rate just by 4%. So now we're going to get 12% compounded annually. Let's see what that does to your money. This is going to allow you to double your money a lot faster, because if you take 12%, 72 divided by 12 gives you 6 years. So now you're going to be doubling your money every 6 years. So at 18, 24, 30, 36, and 42. By the time you're 42, you're going to have $160,000, right? Whereas back up here, you only had $80,000, because you are able to double your money one time more, which is big, right? 80,000 versus 160,000, even though your interest rate only went up by 4%. From 8 to 12, you're doubling your money. So let's visualize this even more using a table. So here, 8%, you're doubling your money every 9 years. So here you can see at age 60, your $10,000 is going to grow and double to 20K in 9 years. In 18 years, you're going to have 40K. In 27 years, you're going to have 80K, right? Every 9 years. From 45 to 54, another 9 years, you're going to have 160K. And then in another 9 years, you're going to, oh, this is a typo. This should be 63. At age 63, you're going to have 320K, right? Not bad, but let's take this. How many times did your money double? Your money doubled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Your money was able to double 5 times within a 45-year period. Not bad. But now let's say that you're earning, instead of 8%, we are going to say we're going to earn 12%, just like in our other example, right? So now 72 divided by 12, you're going to get about 6 years. So your money is going to double every 6 years. So from 18 to 24, 24 to 30, 30 to 36, 36 to 42, 42 to 48, 48 to 54, 54 to 60. So now your money is able to double how many times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 6, 7, 6, 7. So your money is now doubling 7 times versus only 5 times at 8%, right? So what difference does that make? Well, now you're getting 10 to 20K, 20 to 40K, 40 to 80K, 80K to 160K, 160 to 320, 320 to 640, 640 to $1.2 million. And that, my friend, is the power of interest rate, right? If you can increase your rate of return, this allows you to double your money more times in the same period. Right here, you're only invested 36 years invested, but you make 1.2 million versus what, 320K when you're earning 8%. So even though you're only increasing your interest rate 4%, you're actually multiplying the amount you make by 4 times, 400% rate of return more, right? And that is why when you're looking at what your rate of return is, plays a very important part in determining how much your account value will grow. So that's number one, the power of your rate of return. Now, let me combine that with how you actually use the power of time, right? So now let's compare starting at 18 versus starting at 30. So you're still $10,000 at a 12% interest rate, which means you're going to be doubling your money every 6 years. So you're going to have 2 different people. You're going to have Ben, who starts investing at 18. He's got 10K, but now every 6 years, he's going to double it. So you're going to get 20K, just like the other exercise. Now at 30, you're going to have 40K. At 36, you're going to have 80K. At 42, you're going to have 160K. 48, you're going to have 320K. 54, you're going to have 640K. At 60, you're going to have $1.2 million. All right. Now, let's say you're Arthur and you wait till you're 30 years old. So at 18, you didn't have any money. 24, you didn't invest yet. But all of a sudden, at 30 years old, you start to invest your 10K, right? But you missed 2 periods where your money could have doubled because you started 12 years later, right? 12 years divided by your money doubling every 6 years, that is equal to 2 doubling periods that you miss out on. So how much is that? So the opportunity cost here. So here you double your money after 6 years, which now you're 36. You double your money again at 42, another 6 years. You double your money again, double your money again, double your money here after 30 years. And then at age 65, or here, let's just stop at age 60, right? Instead of 1.2 million, you only made 320,000. So this is using the same 12% interest rate of return, but because you waited, you're giving up almost $800,000, $900,000 just because you wanted to party from the age of 18 to 30. You didn't want to invest. And this is why the rich get richer. They know the power of compound returns. So what they do is they invest in their children. Instead of waiting till 18, you can actually put your money in a tax deferred account in your child. So they actually start putting money into their child's retirement account or college fund as early as age 5 or even earlier. So now instead of starting at 18, you could double your money. 5, add 6, now 11, right? And then at 6, 17. So this gives them 2 more doubling periods because you started at age 5. Now instead of 1.2 million, you'll have 2.4, 4, and then double that, you're going to get $4.8 million, right? So the earlier you start, the more opportunities you can double your money, which then allows you to build wealth. If you can understand that, folks, this is the first starting point to building wealth in America. Is number 1, learning the power of interest, and then learning the power of time, which means starting early. So here, let me show you how this looks graphically. So here you can see starting at age 30, you have $10,000, right? So starting at age 30, and then you double it every 6 years at 12% interest rate, right? So 20, 40, 80, 160, 320. So your money is growing exponentially, which is a good thing, right? You always want your money to grow exponentially. But if you put your money in earlier at 18, you can double your money every 6 years at 24, at 30, 36, 42, 48, 54, 60. And now your $10,000 can now double more times, right? In this scenario, you can double your money 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. But in this scenario, by starting earlier, you can double your money 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times, which just shows you graphically on this chart why starting early really allows you to compound your money. 320,000, 640,000, and then $1.2 million. And if I connect this line, you could just click on this little gear icon, click on the color and choose lines. And here, this is, friends, the power of compound interest. Just by starting from 18 years old versus 30, and you only have $10,000 compounded at 12%, look at that graph, folks. Your money is going to double more, which widens out this gap, right? If you click on it, it'll tell you at age 60, you made 1.2 million. Over here at age 63, you only have $320,000. And that is graphically what you see in that chart. And of course, this is always going to be simple interest, right? So if I add another table in here and I just want to do simple interest here, let's change this color to here. Let's say you start at 18,000. I mean, at year 18, you have 10,000, right? And then here, 10 years later, at 28, you have 20,000. You're just adding 1,000 every year. So at age 38, you add another 10,000, so you have 30,000. At age 48, you add another 10,000, which gives you 40,000. And then at age 58, this assumes that you're just making $1,000 every year. So this is simple interest. So now you have 50,000, right? And here, if I connect these lines, let's make this line orange, make it stand out. You'll see that this is a linear equation. A linear equation just says that it's just going at a constant rate. You're just making $1,000 every year. It's not being compounded. Whereas here, using the rule of 72, your money is being compounded, which means it's able to double. Here, using simple interest, you cannot double your money because you're just growing at a linear rate. And that, folks, is the power of why compound interest is the key to building wealth, but even more so, your interest rate, the rate that you're earning being compounded allows you to double your money that much faster. So folks, hopefully this kind of opens your eyes to why compound interest is so important and why your rate of return is also very important. Now, the next question, which I'm going to teach you in my upcoming videos, is how do you get a 12% rate of return? Remember, the stock market allows you to earn a higher interest rate because you're taking some risk. But how do you know what to buy in the stock market? How do you know how much to buy and when to buy? And if you know those answers, you could potentially outperform the market and maybe earn 24% per year. And remember, the S&P 500 returns about 10 to 12% every year. But if you actually equip yourself with knowledge of the markets and how to trade it, how to invest it, you could potentially make 24% a year. And if you do that and you use the rule of 72 divided by 24%, you can now double your money every 3 years. And this, folks, is how you can build wealth. By doubling your money every 3 years, you can imagine how fast you can build your capital up, right? So here, let's just do a fun exercise here. Let's add another table where instead of doubling your money every 6 years, if you earn a 24 rate of return by equipping yourself with the knowledge, right, of compound interest and the stock market, look at how many times your money can double. Starting at 18, you have $10,000. Whoops, no comma there, right? Just imagine how often you can double your money by earning a 24% rate of return. This is going to make your curve go sky high, right? And that is the key to building wealth. I'll teach you how you can invest in the markets, whether you're trading stocks, options, you're day trading the E-mini micros, or even crypto, Forex. If you can make your money work for you, you could start off with very little and make a lot. And here, this is also another key point that I teach my kids, is that let's say you're young and you have a child, right? Or you're in high school right now and you make, let's say, $20 an hour. $20 an hour. And let's say you're a part-time worker. So instead of 8 hours a day, let's say you're working, 4 hours a day. 4 hours per day. So now you're going to be making $80 per day, right? That's pretty realistic. And you work 5 days a week. So you multiply this by 5, you're making $400 every week, right? And if you're making $400 every week and there's 4 weeks to a month, well, multiply that by 4, and that's going to tell you that you're making $1,600 per month, right? And what's great about being a student or a child is that it's easier for students to save money when they're younger because they don't have the bills like an adult has, right? For me, I got to pay rent. I got to pay my kids' daycare, insurance, right? But if you're a child living under the roof of your parents, it's easy to save. Let's say out of $1,600 you made that month, let's say you save $1,000 because you don't have any bills to pay, right? If you can save $1,000 per month, right? And you start early, right? Now you're starting at 18 years old, right? Imagine you start at 18 years old, you save $1,000 a month, which is what? $12,000 a year. And now you compound that, right? So let's say at 19, you don't even invest it. You're just saving money at first because you don't know how to invest it yet. But now you have $24,000. And then you can save this for 3 years because you're living under your parents' roof. And you're saving now, you have $36,000. And then at age 20, you then learn how to invest your money in the markets, right? And you're earning, let's say, 12% compounded returns, right? Now you can see the power, right? Kids have the ability to, number one, save more money than adults can because they don't have bills to pay. And if they learn the power of compound interest and the power of investing early, they can use this to their advantage to build wealth for themselves so that they can retire without worrying about their Social Security or their 401k because they've already invested in themselves early on, knowing the power of investing early and saving money because they don't have any bills to pay. So let's take a look at this theoretically. Let's say you have $36,000 now because you were able to save those first 3 years, right? So if you have 36, I'm going to delete all of these. Now look at how this will play for your financial future, right? At 18, let's say you were able to save $1,000 a month, which is $12,000 a year. And then at 19, you were then able to then save up to 24,000. And then at 20, you were able to save 36,000, right? So that's not even growing your money yet, right? This is just saving. This is your simple interest where you're having, if I were to connect the dots here, this is a linear equation, right? There's no compound going on. You're just building $12,000 every year. But now you learn, let's say you learn how to invest and you're making 12%, right? You're making 12% compounded every year in the markets. What does that mean? Well, 72 divided by 12% is 6 years. So now you're going to double your money every 6 years. So let's see what that is. So let's go 26, 32, 38, 44. Now you're going to take your 36,000 and you're going to double it to 72,000. Right? Now your money's really going to grow. Now in 6 years, you're going to double that to 144,000. And then you're going to take that and double that to 288,000. Right? Notice that your curve is now growing exponentially. You no longer have a flat line. Now you're growing at an exponential rate. And then at 44, you can have something like 56. This is not exact, but you get the point, right? And then let's say you wait till you are now 50 years old. Add another, and then this is going to give you 1.2 million. And that, folks, is how you can grow at age 18, saving just $1,000 a month. Do it for 3 years. Learn how to invest the market, compound it at 12% so that you could double your money every 6 years. At age 50, you'll be a millionaire. And all you did was start off with saving $1,000 a month for 3 years to save up to 36,000, and then use that money to then compound on itself to make $1 million with only 36,000 to start with. I hope you guys learned a little bit about that lesson. I would encourage you to share this with your kids, share this with, if you are a student, start to apply this in your life, and you're really going to see how wealth is built using math and the power of compound interest.